All right, so I was telling my friend Susan. I was talking to my friend Susan. She was getting ready for a job interview, and she was putting on makeup, stuff like that. And I told her she was drawing her eyebrows too high. She looked surprised. Yes, that's a joke. Hello and welcome back to this Total OS podcast on keeping your phone cool during heat waves. Yeah, we had a big one last week, in case you didn't notice if you live here in the States. But I was at the pool, so I was okay. Still hot though. So we'll talk about tips on keeping your cell phone as cool as possible. Hope you're all doing well. Once again, the background music is provided by Dad. Hi, Dad. Miss ya. All right. What else is new? Car shopping for my son after he blew up the engine on his Lexus, because apparently he doesn't think water pumps are that important. The joy of kids. All right, where's my coffee? If anybody has a spare $50,000 they don't need, just gonna donate it to the channel so I can buy my son another Lexus. No, wait. I'll buy the Lexus for me, and he can have my old GM car. That's what we'll do. Yeah, now I'm using my brain here. All right, so I'm sure I'll miss most of you for this live show. Had some time this morning before I start my day. So these are some tips that I normally do. To keep the phone as cool as possible. So we'll go through these one by one. So we'll start off with what I'll do. What I do normally is update the phone at night, of course, in a house, with the air conditioning on. Updating your phone, depending on how many updates you have, can take a while. And yeah, it'll keep your phone cooler if you do it at night, at home, obviously not in direct sunlight. All right, well, next tip, don't keep your phone in the hot car. If you have to, shut it off. Sometimes I've left my phone in the car or keep it in the car, but the phone is shut off. Next tip is keep your phone out of direct sunlight, whether you're sitting outside, maybe outdoor restaurant, or in a car by the window, whatever, by the pool, by the beach. Keep your phone out of direct sunlight. And if the phone shuts down because it's too hot, on the next tip here, use a fan to cool it. I have one of those like small portable floor fans or something like that. And you can use that to cool it down. It definitely does help. Which brings me to the next tip. Don't place it in a freezer or fridge if the phone shuts down for obvious reasons. Moisture damage. You may even crack the glass due to the extreme temperature change. Believe it or not, people have placed phones in the freezer next to the popsicles. Anyway. And finally, what I like to do is to fully charge the phone before I leave the house in the morning. That way, I don't have to worry about, charging it in the hot car while it's driving or forgetting to charge it. So, yeah, I like to have it fully charged. And a lot of phones today, and not even expensive ones, they have fast charging capabilities. I have a Motorola phone. If it's almost down to like 5-10%, I can usually fully charge it, close to it, in less than an hour. With the proper fast charger. So these are my tips. Update the phone at night. Don't keep it in a hot car. Keep out of direct sunlight. If the phone shuts down, use a fan to cool it. Don't place it in the freezer. And fully charge before leaving the house. If you have any other tips, feel free to post them in the comments below. I'm going to take another quick sip of coffee here. Give me a second. I will say this about heat waves. It didn't bother me as much because I lived in Florida almost 10 years. So here in Ohio, when we had a heat wave, not that I liked it, but it didn't seem to bother me as much. All right, let's see. The stream looks good. Let me see if anybody's in the chat. I doubt it. I didn't really plan this. I just had some time before I get showered and start my day. So let's go to the chat. Let's refresh this. And if anybody's in the chat and wants to say hello, please do. If not, I'll wrap this up here shortly. So, yeah, this has been my summer so far. Blown engine in Alexis, shopping for a car. Yeah, that just bites. I know I'm not the only one. One of my friends from work, her daughter almost blew the engine, bad water pump, but I think they caught it in time. So luckily I haven't blown my phone from the heat. So yeah. All right, so it looks like a very quiet morning in the chat. I'll give it one more minute or so, and I'm going to finish my coffee, and I guess I'll start my day. I'm sorry I missed all of you. No surprise. I really don't know when to schedule these anymore. I could use some more feedback from you guys, but let me know, and we'll try to work out some kind of at least a residue of a schedule to do these live events. I've noticed the weekends aren't necessarily the best time anymore, but yeah, it's summer. We're 1 year out of a pandemic. People have plans. I just got news from the Pittsburgh International Airport that get there 3 hours before your flight, early morning. Record number of passengers. Understandable, people getting caught up with friends and family, and the last thing they want to do is listen to my voice. It's okay. I'm not taking it personal. It's okay. Just remember when Uncle Guido calls, you'll just kidding, just kidding. So anyway, another few more sips of coffee here. So I was scouring the tech news, except for the Microsoft Copilot, recall fiasco. I didn't really notice any other big news. It looks like Microsoft is going to delay that rollout, or at least not having it turned on by default, which is a good idea. I still like Windows 11, it works, but sometimes the politics behind the operating systems, yeah, it's not always the best. So I know. I did catch something that's somewhat off the beaten path. Atari, you remember the Atari games? I guess there's going to be a 50-year anniversary, a new Atari coming out with 39 new games for the Atari 50. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, well, good for them. Huh. Very interesting. Okay, well, I remember the Atari and the joystick. Yeah, don't you? I definitely do. Anyway, well, one more look here in the chat and I'll wrap this up. See if anybody's here. Man, Atari, that brings back some memories. Yeah. Oh, Sean is in the house. He says, good morning. Good morning, sir. He says, good morning. All 1 billion Linux users out there. I suppose thanks to Chromebooks, that may be an accurate statement. Sean, how are you? Very nice. Yeah. This morning I'm streaming from Linux Mint. One of the best for everyone. So how are you, Sean? The new KDE Plasma looks great. Cool. Plasma has really always looked pretty sharp. It's not what I would use. I still prefer the the Mate desktop, the simple GNOME 2 look. So for me, it's I think it's the best choice for beginners to the world of Linux. What do you think? I think so. You like modern GNOME in Fedora. Okay, if it works, use it. It's probably one of my least favorite desktop environments without, proper extensions. I think Zorin probably does it best with the GNOME desktop. Oh, you've been on Fedora workstation since 2004. Linux guy since 2004. Wow. Okay. That's cool. Nice. That beats me. I started with Linux with Ubuntu at around 2006. And I stayed with Ubuntu until about a couple years ago when Ubuntu decided to switch to the GNOME desktop. Yeah, I preferred Unity. I just did. Yeah, you miss Battery. Yeah, he was zany, yeah. The good old days of the early days of Linux news and nonsense. Yep, those were fun days. Yeah, Unity back the Ubuntu Unity desktop back in 2016 was the last one before they switched. Was solid, rock solid. And I thought now Ubuntu is hitting its stride. Then they decided to drop it, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I tried it, the tweaks and the extensions. Things kept breaking. I'm like, finally 2 years ago, I just dropped it. I did a fresh install of Ubuntu. I had no sound. Yeah, I mean, if you do a fresh install of something, run the updates, and you still have no sound, it's time to move on. It just, and this is true for any operating system. If it was Windows, I would have moved on. That was disappointing, Sean, to say the least, but I no longer use Ubuntu. It's just not what it used to be, and I think a lot of it has to do with the GNOME desktop. It just seems like it's never quite finished, finalized, polished. I don't know. Like I said, Zorin does it very well, and maybe Pop! OS. You got a Snapdragon Surface Pro. Cool. I usually use either my desktop or my phone. I do have a newer Windows 11 laptop, a ThinkPad, of course. Don't use it that much. Usually on a laptop, I'll use my Chromebook. You know, it's a little faster, so. ARM is definitely the future. Oh, you came back to Mac because of the ARM chips. Okay, I don't currently have a Mac, but okay, hey, if it works, use it. Right? I don't know. I'm due for another desktop. These machines now are 10 years old, at least that I have, or more. It seems like every time I want to go shopping for a new computer, something happens. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, what happened right before Father's Day was my son blowing the engine on his Lexus. Thankfully, he just found a job starting Monday. It's always something, right? So I should let him buy me a computer. Yeah, maybe that'll teach him a lesson. Anyway, Snapdragon Elite desktops. Ah, okay. Yeah, I was looking for like a 1-year-old refurbished Ryzen 7 for about $400, 16 gigs of RAM. Should be enough for what I do. I'm not really a gamer, so that's what I was looking for. I'm probably going to wait till my son can get a new car, then maybe go shopping again, but that's probably something I would get. Something like a Ryzen 7. Maybe something from HP or something similar. I'm still waiting for the immutable version of Ubuntu. That's the one that has me somewhat excited. Of course, Chromebooks, immutable, you know, since they first came out over 10 years ago. I'm curious to see if Ubuntu can match the quality of Chrome OS. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that's the one when it finally is released. I think that'll be the big news of the year. It was supposed to be released this year. It wasn't ready. I'm cool with that. If it's not ready, don't release it. Obviously. So you think Ubuntu will be better with the immutable? Okay. All right. Yeah, the Linux apps in Chrome OS, it's more of an experimental thing, I guess. It's not for everyone. Lack of 3D accelerator. Yeah, I mean, look, it's good that they are there as a choice. I think that's wonderful to have Android apps choice and web apps and Linux apps. But the one thing about Chrome OS got stale. I will say this about Chromebooks: they are not designed for someone to modify or tinker. Because as you know, if you start to play with something, then you'll break it, right? So they were designed. Now, you know, things are slowly changing, of course, but I think Chromebooks were just designed to be this way, take it or leave it, as a choice. Linux is all about choice. So I think the thinking behind the Chromebook, is this is how they were made, this is what they're used for, take it or leave it. Now the upside is they never break, meaning that the OS never breaks. I've never had to fix anything on a Chromebook. I've never had to use the terminal to fix something. And of course the other upside is a fair price. Chris Titus removed Debian and installed Arch and place on. Yeah, look, Chris definitely likes to tinker, but he's for lack of a better word, he's a tech head. which I kind of like used to be. I used to tinker, not anymore. He said Linux apps ran better. Well, that may be. I don't do that. I think the Chromebooks by default run perfectly fine. They're fast. Never seen malware. I've yet to have someone tell me, man, I got hit with ransomware on a Chromebook. I don't think it's going to happen. But I think Chromebooks, the way they were designed, for someone maybe coming over from Windows, they just want to turn it on, log in, that's it. Zero maintenance from the user. Updates are done in the background. There's a little pop-up, restart your Chromebook when you're ready, to finish installing the updates. Now that's how Chromebooks were designed, made by default, and that's why they sell so well. Look, during the pandemic, Chromebooks outsold MacBooks. Speaking of Macs, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, yeah, I know there are. Apple came out with MacBooks during the pandemic, starting at $999. Is that still true, or have they gone up in price? Right, for the M1 chip, M2, or something like that. But yeah, MacBooks are fine. They're not for everyone, just like Linux isn't for everyone, Chromebooks aren't for everyone. But I think why Chromebooks have sold so well is that they just work, Sean. They just work, and for someone just wants to get on the web, maybe a Zoom call or Skype or whatever they use, check their emails. It's hard to beat a Chromebook now with 10 years of free support. That's pretty good for a price point starting at about $200 and up. Well, hence the power of Linux, right? Zoom was awful on the Mac? Really? Or on the Chromebook? I haven't had issues. There might be two versions of the Zoom, though, if it's a problem on the Chromebook. Yeah, I haven't had any issues. I mean, I don't use my Chromebook that much, but the newer versions of the Chromebooks, the Chromebooks Plus, those are the ones to go with for a first-time user. I've used Chromebook. What have I used? StreamYard to stream. It was fine. Again, on a Chromebook, not installing Chrome OS on a separate machine, but Chrome OS on a Chromebook is what I did. Yeah, you shouldn't have. If somebody buys a Chromebook brand new and Zoom doesn't work, then there's probably something wrong with that Chromebook. You need to return it. Yeah, because the web apps should be perfectly fine because that's how they were designed. All right, I'll stick around. Let's see. Let's give this 5 more minutes, Sean, then we'll wrap it up so I can get showered, start my day, and do what I have to do some chores. But which reminds me, I need to update my Chromebook. The only thing I wish we had, I wish the software would have caught up to the Chromebooks. For example, I wish there was an OBS Studio for the Chromebook. I wish there was Kden Live for a Chromebook, stuff like that. Not yet. You want to come on sometime with you and talk Chromebook? Yeah, we can schedule. Not sure when, but we can schedule something live, talking Chromebooks and Chrome OS. Not sure when. I'll give you guys a heads up, but Maybe I'll call it by request Chromebooks Live or something. That way you'll know, Sean. Just make sure that you have gee, I can't think this morning. Make sure you've clicked on the notification bell for the channel here, so you'll know. But it's been a while since I've talked only Chromebooks and Chrome OS, so and I think it's time now that Google has 10 years of support, no charge, no extra charge. I think that's pretty smart. So yeah, we can do that. All right, is there anything else, Sean? And we'll wrap it up here. All right, so I guess we'll wrap this up for this morning. I don't think there is a heat wave this week. Maybe next week. It's currently at 77 here in Ohio, so I'll take it. All right, Sean, it was great chatting with you. Thank you so much for stopping by this morning. At least it's morning for me. I'm not sure where you live, but anyway, always great to chat with somewhere in the chat. And yeah, we can talk Chromebooks. The next scheduled live show, and yeah, we'll see if the people who have bought the new. I'm curious the consumers who have bought the new Chromebooks Plus, how they feel about it. 10-year support isn't bad. All right, take care.